Week 6 of the 2025 fantasy football season comes to a close tonight with the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. We need to get a jump start on week number 7. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down my top 5 must-stream defenses for week number 7 of the 2025 fantasy football season. The reason as to why we stream defenses is because that is how you get one of the biggest edges in fantasy football. A lot of people in your league are running with the same defense week in and week out regardless of the matchup, and matchups are very exploitable for the defenses in fantasy football. So we are going to be trying to pick up defenses that can help you win your week. Before we can get on into things, though, I would like to ask, if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. We begin with my first defense to stream on the week, the Chicago Bears, going up against the New Orleans Saints at home in Chicago. The Bears defense is currently rostered in 38.7% of leagues on NFL, 4% on Sleeper, 4.2% on ESPN, and 5% on Yahoo. If you play on any other platform, then the rostership percentage may be slightly different, though I will note in some cases there may be a major difference from one platform to a different platform, like with the Bears, how they're 38.7% roster on NFL, but just 4% on Sleeper. Now, the Chicago Bears play tonight on Monday Night Football up against the Commanders in the second Monday Night Football game in Washington. Since we do not have their defensive statistics yet, we have to go hop into the time machine back to week number 4 up against the Raiders in Vegas, as they were on bye in week number 5. The Bears defense week 4 in Viva Las Vegas, they win that game 25-24. The defense came alive in that showing. 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, 24 points allowed, and then that was their second game in a row with 3 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery. Now, do I expect the Bears defense to pick off Spencer Rattler 3 times and cause a fumble recovery? Fuck no, baby. Of course, I don't expect them to run this hot that many games in a row, and I definitely don't expect them to turn over Jaden Stormy Daniels 3 times tonight on Monday Night Football, but I do think that the Chicago Bears defense is much better than we give them credit for. And this season, a very big theme in these defense to stream videos is streaming up against the New Orleans Saints. And while the New Orleans Saints offense definitely has gotten better, and Spencer Rattler does definitely look better in my opinion compared to last season, he is still far from an ideal quarterback at the NFL level, and he is still a guy that we are going to want to target in these defense to stream videos. The Patriots defense, week 6 at the New Orleans Saints, they win that game 25-19. The Patriots defense had 2 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 19 points allowed in that game. So with how good the Bears defense has looked, and with how not so hot the Saints offense has looked, to me, it seems like a no-brainer that you want the Chicago Bears defense on your team for this week. Now, the Bears do face the Ravens next week in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is expected to be back in that game, and while the Ravens may be down absolutely astronomical at this point in the season, I am very unlikely to get cute and start the Bears defense in week number 8, so I would prefer to drop them after this week, unless, of course, Lamar Jackson coming out the bye is not good to go, and they have to go with either Cooper Rush or Snoop Huntley, then in that case, you definitely want to be streaming the Bears defense. So I would wait until some more news comes out about that before you do end up making the move to cut them. Next up, we move to the New England Patriots at the Tennessee Titans. The Patriots defense currently rostered in 50.9% of leagues on NFL, 72% on Sleeper, 66% on ESPN, and 48% over on Yahoo. So this is more of a defense that you might be able to find if you are in a 8 or a 10-team league compared to a 12-team league, but I definitely still would check the waiver wire to see if they're available in a 12-team league. The Patriots defense, week 6 at the New Orleans Saints, we already spoke about that. They win the game 25-19, 2 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 19 points allowed in that matchup. Going up against Cam Ward has basically been an infinite money glitch for fantasy football defenses. Going up against Cam Ward has been as fruitful as it gets. The Titans offense really just cannot get anything going at a consistent basis. They've switched the play caller, and still the offense is completely and utterly inept. I still am a believer in Cam Ward. I say this every single week. I think eventually things will start to click and he will start to play very solid at the NFL level. I mean, he wasn't the number one overall pick for no reason, but right now, this Titans offense is as dysfunctional as it gets, and a defense like the New England Patriots will be able to take big advantage of that. The Raiders defense last week, we're not talking about the 85 Bears defense. We're not talking about one of the best defenses in the NFL. We're talking about the Raiders, and the Raiders made the Tennessee Titans offense look like some little pups in this game. They win 20-10. Cam Ward took 6 sacks straight to the face like his name was Lily Phillips, 1 INT, 2 fumble recoveries, and 10 points allowed. So going up against the Titans, again, very fruitful for defenses this season. And again, we are going to continue to take advantage of that. And a defense like the Patriots, in my opinion, much better than the Raiders. So I feel like they are going to have a great day. The Patriots face the Browns at home in Foxborough in week number 8, making them startable for the next 2 games. After that, they'll face the Falcons, and I would monitor how the Falcons look before I throw the Patriots out there for a 3rd straight time in a row, but you definitely want them on your team if you pick them up this week. You want to hold them to play them up against the Browns next week at home in Foxborough. At number 3, we got the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Las Vegas Raiders at home in Kansas City. 46.5% rostered on NFL. 27% on Sleeper, 13.2% on ESPN, and 55% on Yahoo. So if you are on Sleeper or ESPN, you definitely want to take a look at your waiver wire because picking up the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be very nice for your fantasy team. Week 6 versus the Detroit Lions. They win that game 30-17. 1 sack, 17 points allowed. The defense did play very well. They obviously didn't turn over Jared Goff a bunch of times or anything like that, but you wouldn't have expected the Chiefs defense to completely lock down the Detroit Lions offense, right? No one going into that matchup would have expected the Lions defense to be a weak winner, to score 15, 20 fantasy points and be potentially the reason why you won your week. They obviously put up a decent enough showing, though. 1 sack, 17 points allowed. Going up against the Raiders, again, has just been one of the most fruitful matchups for defenses in fantasy football this season. Geno Smith just looks so bad that it is genuinely shocking. When you watch the guy play, it's like he was going to go hit a piñata. You know how you close your eyes, they put a blindfold on you, and you have to spin around a million times before you go and whack a piñata, or like you're playing a dizzy bat game when you're drunk, and you have to hit the ball after you spin around a million times on the bat and you're already drunk. That is how Geno Smith plays football. You might need to whip out the fucking breathalyzer test because this dude is on some Josh Gordon level shit before the game, because I really don't understand how the guy is this bad. I understand that Geno Smith was never really all that good, and I have kind of been a pretty big proponent of not being a super big believer in Geno Smith, but I mean, this year he has just regressed to a crazy level. He is just so fucking bad that it is genuinely shocking. The Titans defense, week 6 at the Raiders, they lose 10-20. The Titans defense looks good up against the Raiders offense. 2 sacks, 1 INT, and 20 points allowed. So when you have a defense that is significantly better, like the Chiefs going up against a division rivalry matchup after the Chiefs just rolled the Lions up in a spliff and smoked them, I expect a big showing out of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs play the Commanders in week number 8, and while I don't think the Commanders offense has reached their peak this season, they are far from an offense that you are going to want to stream your defense up against, just like the Lions, right? You're not going to want to play even a defense like the Chiefs. If you want to give the Chiefs the Gawk 9000 special, you think the Chiefs are a great defense, any great defense, you still want to be avoiding matchups like this. I would drop the Chiefs after this week, especially since they play the Bills in week number 9, where you don't want to be playing them, and then they have a bye after that. Before we get on into the rest of the defenses to stream in today's video, though, I would like to give you guys a quick word from our friends and our partner over at Underdog. If you're brand new to Underdog, it's not using promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description, you will get a free pick plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus funds, as well as if you play $5 in the pick'em, you receive an additional $100 in bonus funds or in bonus entries. How the pick'em works is incredibly simple. You make at least 2 picks on the higher or the lower. If both of those picks hit on those players, you will win. do multiple other picks, the payout will be higher, but you have to hit all of the other picks. So make sure you guys do check that out. Promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description. So now we pivot into the less desirable defenses, right? The first three defenses you are feeling fantastic about. You are absolutely ecstatic that you have one of these three defenses because you love the matchup. And as we get further down here to defense 4 and defenses number 5, you are very much picking up the scraps. So if you are in a league that's like a 8 or a 10 team league, and maybe some of the defenses that are not as widely available are available in your league, make sure you ask down below in the comment section, because if you are in an 8 or a 10 team league, I don't think, for a lot of you, you will have to resort to actually playing one of these defenses. First up here, defense number 4, again, giant tier gap between the first three defenses and this defense. And then the defense after this, the Miami Dolphins going up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. 4.1% roster on NFL, 4% on Sleeper, 2.5% on ESPN, and 3% on Yahoo. And I know what you might be thinking. Nick, the Dolphins defense is absolutely dreadful. Nick, you think the Dolphins defense is bad? Why would I stream the Dolphins defense? And those are very good questions. Nick, you think the Dolphins defense reeks to high heaven. How can you possibly stream them? It is all about the matchup. I know the Dolphins defense is a disaster. I know that Jalen Phillips must have put some fucking lube on his body before going to try to sack Justin Herbert to seal the game, because the guy literally rolled off of him. This Miami Dolphins defense is a complete and utter disaster. Anthony Weaver should have been fired yesterday after that game. He should not have been allowed to get back on, even into his own car after the game. They should have towed his car for what he did to this Dolphins team, and it didn't matter. They obviously aren't going to fire anyone because Stephen Ross is a complete and utter fuckface of a owner. He's a complete and utter loser who is okay with the Dolphins being a complete and utter failure for 30 straight seasons. I hope that Stephen Ross looks himself in the mirror in a couple of weeks and realizes what needs to be done, but the guy is too much of a soft piece of shit to actually realize that, and he is just setting the franchise back every single week. And I know that might not sound positive for the Dolphins defense outlook, and I know that the Dolphins outlook is bleak this season. I know the Dolphins absolutely suck, Nick. Ha 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 ha. I know. Right? You're not the first person to tell me, but going up against the Cleveland Browns offense could just be what fixes the Dolphins defense for one game, right? Fixes it for one game. It's not a long-term fix, right? It's far from a long-term fix, but it is just, something to do for one game, right? The Cleveland Browns offense just is not that good. The Dolphins defense, week 6 versus the Chargers, they lose 27-29, of course, because why wouldn't they lose even after Tua leads that game-winning drive deep down the field, but he scored too fast, he finished too quickly. Sounds similar to me, so I was very disappointed in that game, but 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 29 points allowed. The Steelers defense absolutely teed off Tiger Woods style on the Cleveland Browns last week. They win 23-9, 6 sacks, 9 points allowed. The Steelers defense is obviously much better than the Dolphins defense. It's like comparing apples to oranges. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think the Dolphins are going to sack Dylan Gabriel 6 times. That would just be foolish to assume, considering the Dolphins can't get any pressure. But the Browns offense legitimately is so bad that I think they can even make a low-life defense like the Dolphins play good enough for you to stream them in fantasy. The Dolphins face the Falcons in Hotlanta next week. The Dolphins defense is so bad that I don't want any part in that matchup. Final defense to stream, the Carolina Panthers at the New York Jumbo Jets. 0.6% rostered on NFL, 0% on Sleeper, 0.9% on ESPN, and 1% over on Yahoo. So again, break glass in case of emergency, right? This is not a defense that you should want to have to start this week, but if you are in a real pickle, like your name was Rick, and you have to start them, then it is okay because you're going up against the Jets. A lot of other matchups, you wouldn't want anything to do with the Cleveland Browns, the Carolina Panthers, but going up against the Jets, that is just, potentially the Willy Wonka golden ticket. Panthers defense week 6 versus the Dallas Cowboys. They win 30-27. They don't record a sack, fumble, interception, any metric, just 27 points allowed. They still won the game, though, 30-27 up against the Dallas Cowboys. The defense really isn't good at all, so you are just preying on the fact that Justin Fields plays like he did in London, and with his subpar play, even in garbage time where he normally wakes up prior to that, he turns the ball over enough. He takes enough sacks to where you have a good day out of the Panthers. I mean, the Broncos, they win that game 13-11 a game. They had no business winning. They should not have won that game. I 100% think that they should have lost. The Jets should have won. But Justin Fields was so bad. I mean, the guy holds on to the ball and counts like 30 Mississippis before he even tries to throw the football. 9 sacks. He got sacked 9 times in one game. The clock in his head is broken of, hey, normally after 2 seconds, I need to either run or throw the ball. Otherwise, someone that's going to be coming for my lunch money is going to steal it, right? That's what quarterbacks are thinking. But with Justin Fields, the clock is fucking lagging, okay? It has bad ping or something like that. It has packet loss, okay? It just wasn't working. 9 sacks, 9 points allowed. After facing the Jets, the Panthers go toe-to-toe with the Buffalo Bills at home in Carolina. I would rather eat a spoonful of glass than start the Panthers in that spot. So again, the Panthers defense is bad. I understand. The only reason why you're streaming them is because they are going up against the Jets. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying today's video, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below like it owes you some money. Leave a like on today's video to help me out a ton. If you want to follow me on Twitter or X, please do so at NotoriousFantasy. Check out one of the videos on your screen. If you haven't seen them already, I love you long time. Hope you have a great one. As always, good boy.